morning, and thank you for joining me. I'm really happy to see my Pilates peeps. Hope you guys had an awesome weekend. My name is Elizabeth, and you're in a Pilates-inspired fitness class. And for props today, we're going to use dumbbells. So let's grab those dumbbells and get this party started. So let's start by opening those arms to a T, kicking one foot to the side, coming to center, and switching, and continue. As we open these arms to a T, guys, let's make sure that we are, in fact, just coming to a T. So I want those hands below the shoulders. If those hands venture up above the shoulders, it is not good for the shoulders, and we want to take care of our shoulders. All right, for 2, and 1, and come to center. Swing those arms from side to side, and notice how this feels. I call this move lady in a park. And we will revisit this move at the end of class. And I want you to notice if it feels different. For 2, and 1, and come to center. All right, guys, then let's bend those elbows into a biceps curl. Let's do just a half biceps curl. So those arms are forearms parallel to the mat. And then lower and switch and switch. And continue. So we're just coming into a slow march with alternating biceps curls. And then this simple move will begin to warm up your body. And I'd like to take this opportunity to request of you, this is super important, so please listen up. I want you to work in a pain-free range of motion today. So that means comfortably uncomfortable is okay, but pain is not. So anytime you're feeling stabbing pain, shooting pain, joint pain, structural pain, anything like that, please stop what you're doing, which is causing those sensations, and do something different. What? Anything else. So you can do anything else. You can take a rest. You can do an earlier exercise. You can disco dance, anything you want. But it's important to me that you're working in a pain-free range of motion so you, in fact, feel better after class. In fact, that is my goal for every class that I teach, is for every student to feel better after every class. All right. For 2, and the next time you have a knee in tabletop, it does not matter which, pause. Then let's straighten those arms and bend. Yep, so we're still just doing that half range of motion. That is on purpose. We are actually targeting a specific portion of the biceps muscle, which is the muscle in the front of the arm. For 4, and 3, and 2, looking good, guys, and 1, come to center and place that foot down. Then let's bring those arms back into that half biceps curl and pause with the other knee in tabletop. So taking a balance challenge, then this is now our starting point. Let's bring those dumbbells all the way up towards the shoulders and do it again and continue. You are breathing, hollowing out that belly, taking that balance challenge. Balance is important because we begin to lose it at the age of 30, and it's a skill. And when we practice it, it comes back pretty quickly. So we're targeting that other portion of the biceps area. For 2, and 1, and then lower both feet down and lower both arms down. Swing those arms from side to side. Oh, already I feel a little different. You might as well. For 2, and 1, and come to center. All right, guys, then let's pull those elbows back behind us so they're very, very far behind us. And then keeping them there, let's straighten those arms, kick one foot back behind you, and then bend those elbows and do it again and continue. All the while, we're keeping those elbows super far behind us, finding a heart opening sensation. So as we're doing this, we're stretching the muscles in the chest, and we're strengthening the back. So both of those are important because both of those lend to better posture. So strengthening those back muscles and stretching these muscles right in here allow for us to stand taller more comfortably as we lean forward over our daily lives, which we do all the time because our whole life is in front of us. These muscles, they literally shorten. So by lengthening them, it makes that better posture more comfortable. Plus, we are targeting the triceps area. That is the part of the arm that we don't want to wave when we wave. And breathe for 4, and 3, looking good, you guys. And 2, loving it. And 1, and come to center. Swing those arms from side to side. All right, your body should be warmed up, and we are going to come into a little cardio blast. So I'm going to cue this to reach those arms overhead and come into a march. And everyone in my screen is on. Except Linda, there she is running through my screen. All right, guys, so this simple move that I'm doing right here will lend to increasing your heart rate, because anytime we work with the arms overhead, it will increase the heart rate. So the reason why I wanted to show you that is because you do not need to do a bounce. So, like if jogging in place doesn't work for you or anything else, you're welcome to just march and reach those arms overhead. A lot of my students right now are off running the stairs, I think. They're not on my screen. By the way, I'm teaching a live Zoom class. So even though this video will be on YouTube right now, I am, so I'm happy to be in your living room as well. And right now I'm in the living room of my regular students who are joining me for this workout, although none of them are in the living room right now, I don't think. Yeah, no. I thought maybe some of them. Oh, there's Lisa. All right, so we're gonna go for another minute. Yeah, and she's off. So when we do this cardio, guys, the goal here is to have a slightly increased sense of urgency to breathe. And when our oxygen consumption is such that we're increasing it and we feel that slight increased sense of urgency to breathe, we're in a really terrific fat burning cardio zone. So a good way to know if you're in that zone is if you can talk in complete sentences, but it's a little bit challenging. So you can probably hear in my voice that I'm there right now. So I'm in that fat burning zone. So that's pretty cool. And breathe, navel tucked to the spine, shoulders down and back. Woo. Hollowing out that belly. Yep. And we'll go just for about 30 more seconds. Yeah, loving it. And we are breathing. And that navel is stuck to the spine. All right, guys, if you wish, maybe begin to pick up your pace and just get that heart rate up a little bit higher before we stop. Yeah, looking so good. And 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Good. All right. So just take stillness and swing those arms from side to side. And notice if you're feeling that increased sense of urgency to breathe. Perhaps you're feeling your pores opening up, maybe sweating a little bit, that heart rate a little higher. Yeah, so that's all good. For 2 and 1 and come to center. All right, guys. Then pulling those elbows back, navel is stuck to the spine. Feet together. Kick one foot back, arms back, come to center and switch and switch. So this is the same movement that we did a moment ago, and we're going to add to it. But if you wish, you can continue with this version. If you want a little bit more, the next time you have that left leg out long, pause. All right, guys, then keeping that left leg straight, keeping those straight arms back behind, maybe begin to lift and lower that back leg and breathe. Taking a static hold with those dumbbells, you should really feel those triceps muscles kicking in. There's definitely a bit of a balance challenge, especially if you're hitting the reformer behind you with your toes. All right, guys, breathing for 4 and 3, feeling this quite a bit in the backs of the arms, and my dumbbells are only 2 pounds, and 2 and 1 and come to center. All right, so let's do that on the other side. So bring those elbows back, straighten those arms back, kick that right foot back. I'm going to reposition my angle here, and then let's lean forward and come to center. And do it again. And notice if it's harder on one side than the other side. By the way, we are keeping those rear toes down towards the ground in an attempt to keep our hips square. Woo. For 3. Woo. And 2. And 1. And come back to center. Nice job. And then swing those arms from side to side. I felt like I was all over doing that exercise. But that's good. That means that I have areas for improvement, and we all do. For 2 and 1, and come to center. Okay, guys, we're going to take this down to the mat. So dumbbells in hand, let's come down to a lying position on the mat. All right. Yep, lying position on the mat. And let's bend the elbows into a goal post, knees bent, feet flat. All right, guys, keeping that head down, that's super important. Take an inhale. As you exhale, lift those hips up towards the ceiling, or reaching those arms up to the ceiling. Inhale, lower that booty, lower the elbows. Exhale, press everything up, and continue. You are breathing. Navel tuck to the spine, keeping that head down. As we lift those hips, give a little squeeze with those booty cheeks. Yep, so really engage that back body for 4 and 3 and 2. And then next time those hips are lifted, keep them lifted. Pivot those palms so they are facing each other. All right, guys, then let's bring that left knee to a tabletop. Lower that right straight arm down towards the mat. And then lower that foot, reach that arm up to the ceiling, and switch. And switch. And switch, and continue. At any time, if these movements are not feeling great with your dumbbells, you can get rid of them and go through the range of motion without them, or you can do any other arm movement. All right, guys, breathing, trying to keep our body full of right angles as we're going through this range of motion with the lower body, and trying to keep that pelvis stable. So begin to notice if those hips are shifting from side to side, and if they are, can you prevent that from happening? Finding that pelvic stability, which we talk a lot about in Pilates. For 3, and 2, and 1, come back to center, lower those hips down. Rest the arms onto the ground wherever you'd like. Take a step apart with those feet and begin to windshield wiper those knees from side to side. And just notice how that feels. Should feel pretty good. For 2. And the next time those knees are to the right, pause. Release one of your dumbbells. Then take your other dumbbell, reach it straight up towards the ceiling. Then reach those straight arms back behind you, down towards the mat. And then reach those arms straight up to the ceiling and do it again. Begin to get in touch with the idea that you're feeling your upper abdominals and some oblique muscles as you're reaching that dumbbell back behind you. See if you can turn this into an exercise targeting the midsection, even though it's your arms moving through space. All right, guys, in just a moment, we're going to add to this, but you can continue with this version if you wish. For 2, and the next time those arms are up towards the ceiling, if you want a little bit more, come into that crunch position with the head, neck, and torso, and then reach those arms back and up and back and up, and continue. So if you're choosing this a second option with your head, neck, and torso, you have more weight, which you are holding up with the muscles in your midsection. And breathe. And again, trying to turn this into an exercise where you're feeling that midsection as opposed to just the arms moving through space. For 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Lower that head, neck, and torso down. Keep those arms up towards the ceiling. Pivot those knees to center and knees bent, feet flat. Take an inhale. As you exhale, come into a crunch, just reaching that dumbbell towards the knees. Inhale, lower down as those arms come up to the ceiling, and do it again and continue. All right, guys, maybe this is all you want. If you want a little bit more, maybe come into a crunch position with the head, neck, and torso. And if you want more than that, maybe begin to kick those legs out long as you reach those arms forward and do it again. or not. I'm going to choose the earlier version, but if that feels good for your body, go ahead and do that. And if you're having a hard time keeping this out of your neck and your head, you can lace those fingertips behind the head at any time for 3 and 2 and 1. Keep those arms up to the ceiling, lower the head, neck, and torso, and then flip those knees over to the left. All right, guys. So this stretch should feel pretty good. And then reach those arms back behind, up to the ceiling, and do it again. And continue feeling that twisty sensation in your midsection. And again, trying to kick this work into the abdominal area. All right, guys. For 2, the next time those arms are up towards the ceiling, pause. If you wish, come into a crunch position with your head, neck, and torso. That will make the abdominal section work harder to facilitate this movement. Or you can keep your head, neck, and torso down. So whatever feels best for you. And you're breathing, hollowing out that belly. Breathing. Did I mention you're breathing? Every once in a while, I feel like I say that too frequently. And then one of my students will come up after class and say, oh, I'm so glad you remind me to breathe. I always forget. All right, guys, for 3 and 2 and 1, lower that head, neck, and torso down. All right, guys, nice job. Let's grab the other dumbbell. So we have 2 dumbbells and pivot those feet back to flat. Knees bent, feet flat. Coming in for round 2 in the bridging sequence, adding on or not. So your choice. If you want more, listen for the change. If you want the previous version, totally fine. This time we'll bend the elbows in at our waist, and those dumbbells are facing each other over our midsection. Take an inhale as you exhale, lift those hips, and then bring one knee into tabletop, put it down, other knee into tabletop, put it down, and breathe. And the next time you have your right knee in tabletop, pause. Okay, guys, then let's kick that right leg long so the knees are together, but the right leg is long, and then the knee into tabletop, and do it again, and continue. Keeping that pelvis stable, adding in an arm movement as we kick that leg long. Let's bring those dumbbells down by our head, keeping those elbows above the shoulders, and then reach those arms up towards the ceiling as we bring that knee into a tabletop position. All right, for 4 and 3 and 2. And the next time those arms are up towards the ceiling and that knee is in tabletop, pause. Then let's take that leg straight up to the ceiling. Flex that foot, lower that straight leg down towards the mat, point those toes, and lift back up to the ceiling. Flex and lower, point and lift. And continue keeping that leg straight, keeping that pelvis stable, and breathing, adding on. As you lower that leg, let's open those arms out to the side, palms facing up. As you point the toes and lift that leg, reach those arms up towards the ceiling, hugging a tree, and do it again. So there's roundness and softness in the elbows. We're focusing on that pelvic stability. So there's a lot going on here, guys. And we're flexing and lowering that foot and pointing and lifting. You should feel lots of muscles working for 3 and 2. And the next time that leg is up towards the ceiling, bend that knee into tabletop and hold isometric contraction, arms in that hug a tree position, and breathe for 3. Whew, and 2. And 1, and then put that foot down. Keep those hips lifted. Let's bring that left knee into a tabletop position. All right, guys, and then we'll kick that left leg long. Bring it back into tabletop and kick it long. So we're just kicking it long so those knees come together. And breathe. Let's straighten those arms. Hands directly above the shoulders, elbows above the shoulders, and then add in that triceps extension. So as we kick that leg long, we'll bring those dumbbells down towards the head, focusing on those triceps, breathing, trying to keep that pelvis stable. So there's a lot going on here, lots to think about. Challenging that mind-body connection facilitates that mind-body connection. All right, for 2. And the next time that knee is in tabletop and those arms are up towards the ceiling, pause. Then let's take that left leg straight up to the ceiling, flex that foot, lower that straight leg down towards the mat, point and lift, flex and lower, point and lift, trying to keep that pelvis stable. And then adding on, as we lower that straight leg, let's open those arms out to a T, palms facing up. And then as we point that toe and lift, we'll reach those arms up towards the ceiling, roundness in the elbows, like we are hugging a tree. Okay, so you should feel a lot going on right now, just saying. And we're still trying to keep that pelvis as stable as possible. Woo! Feeling this quite a bit. Going for that perky booty, that strong backside for 3 and 2. All right, guys. And the next time that leg is up towards the ceiling, pause, bend that knee into a tabletop position, and we'll take that static hold. All right, arms up towards, let's bring those palms so they're facing each other with softness in the elbows. Woo, static hold, feeling that smile line in the back of the right booty cheek. For 3 and 2, and place that foot down, and then finally lower those hips down, and then rest the arms at your sides in a position that's comfortable for you. Take a step apart with those feet and windshield wiper those knees from side to side. Woo! I don't know about you guys, but I'm feeling that quite a bit. All right, for 2 and 1, and come to center. All right, guys, next, let's hug both knees in towards the chest and just enjoy that really nice stretch on that backside that we just worked, that well-deserved stretch, by the way. And then let's kick that right leg along, all 10 fingertips on that left shin, pulling that knee towards you. Exhale and switch and switch and continue. So coming into a super old school Pilates exercise here. Breathing, hollowing out that belly, keeping space between the chin and the chest and the ears and the shoulders, pulling that knee towards you, exhaling as you pull the knee towards you, and breathe for 5 and 4 and 3 and 2. All right, guys, let's kick both legs out long. Place those fingertips behind the head. Take those legs up towards the ceiling and lower those straight legs down and do it again. If this doesn't feel good for you, you can put one foot on the ground and go for about 3 times and then switch, which is what I'm going to do today. My back is kind of talking to me. Otherwise, if you keep those legs together, of course, this will be more challenging for that midsection. But remember, I want you guys to feel better after class, not worse. So any modification at any time is fine. For 3 and 2, you guys are so strong, I love it. And 1, and then come back to center. Lower that head, neck, and torso down, and take a step apart, windshield wiper those knees from side to side. For 3 and 2, and 1, and come back to center. Okay, guys, next, let's take that left ankle, cross it over the knee. There's space between your legs. I want you to reach between your legs and lace those fingertips behind that right thigh. Flex both feet and maybe straighten that leg if you wish. Gently pulling that leg towards you, feeling a really nice assisted figure 4 stretch. And breathe. The only thing here, guys, is, I feel like my foot's in the way, I can't see you. The only thing here is that we want to keep pressure off the knee. So we do not want the ankle on the knee. We want it above the knee, or if that's not available, below the knee. The stretch feels amazing. For 3 and 2 and 1, go ahead and unwind, and then we'll cross the other ankle over, thread the needle, grab onto that left thigh, flexing both feet, and then if you wish, you can take that leg up towards the ceiling. Again, enjoying that well-deserved stretch, flexing those feet. We'll kick that stretch even all the way up into the calf. For 3 and 2 and 1, and unwind, and then let's come to a sideline position. So I am going to come down with my head on my hand, but you can come placing your ear on your bicep is an option. Or if you want a little bit more, you can support yourself up on your shoulder with a straight spine. So your head is in line with your spine. So choose a variation that feels best for you. And then guys, let's find what we call more of a neutral spine. So we want to keep that spine on the straighter side as opposed to doing like this huge Marilyn Monroe thing. So in other words, we don't want a huge, for some of us, we can't avoid it. But anyway, so just keeping that spine straight. Okay, then let's bring both knees out in front. Navel is tucked to the spine. And we'll tuck that top elbow into the waist, one dumbbell in hand. Okay, then let's lift and lower those feet, just super simple. Notice how this feels. Doesn't feel like much, but it kind of sneaks up on you. So we're breathing here, and that navel is tucked to the spine, and the shoulders are down and back. Place your fingers on your midsection, and notice how you're feeling those oblique muscles fire up just to facilitate this movement, which admittedly doesn't feel like much, but clearly there's muscles working. And 3, and 2, and the next time those feet are lifted, keep them lifted. All right, guys, then dumbbell in hand, elbow tucked into the waist, isometric contraction with those ankles lifted. Then take an inhale as you exhale. Let's open those knees and close, and open and close. All right, so this arm movement, if your dumbbells are heavy, I recommend letting go of the dumbbell and going through the range of motion without any resistance whatsoever. So just always, again, listening to your body. The muscle group that we're working in the arms right now, less is definitely more. So we do not want to aggravate anything and use a heavy dumbbell there. So my dumbbells are 2 pounds, and I'm starting to feel this quite a bit. All right, for 3, and 2, and the next time everything is lifted, pause. Okay, then take an inhale. As you exhale, reach that arm up to the ceiling, kick that leg long, bring it back in, and do it again, and continue, and you're breathing. Really nice, making this as challenging as possible. I love it. I feel like I'm hanging out with you guys in the living room. And breathe for 5, and 4, and 3. So you should feel that top booty cheek waking up quite a bit. And 1, and pause. Keep that leg out. We'll just rest the arm. Then pivot those toes down. So those top toes are down. That bottom ankle is still lifted. Then, all right, guys, here we go. Let's take those toes, tap it in front, up and over, and tap in the back. And do it again with the toes. Whoops, with the toes pointed down, if that feels okay for you. So we're going to target a unique area in that backside, and continue, and breathe. So we're sort of making a rainbow arc with this back foot, with those toes down, and you should be feeling it right there, right there. You guys feeling it? Yeah, me too. And breathe. Woo, feeling it quite a bit. For 5. Oh my goodness, you might be thinking of me tomorrow. And 4. In other words, you might be a little bit sore, but I'll be feeling your pain too. And 2. Whoa. And breathe. And 1. Bring both knees together. Rest. Good. And notice that sensation of that feeling like you've worked your muscles back there, which you have. And then reach both arms forward. Take that top arm up and over, coming into a side body stretch. And notice how your body feels after all of that activity. And breathe for 4. And 3. 2. This feels so good. I don't want to come out of this, but there are other things to do. And 1, and come back. So actually, we'll come back to a line on the back position. So just pivot over onto your back. All right, guys. Then let's hug those knees into the chest. Take those legs straight up to the ceiling. Then let's release that right straight leg, lower it down. Pull this top leg towards us. We'll pull it towards us twice with little percussive exhales. And switch. And switch. And continue. So that is the true expression of this exercise, which is, again, a super old school Pilates exercise. If it's available to you guys, those legs are straight. If that's not available to you yet, that's okay. Notice the muscles that we're working. Oh, my legs are going to cramp, so I'm flexing my feet now. Those toes originally should be pointed though. All right, guys, so we've got thighs. Yeah, we've got front of the leg, we've got back of the leg, we've got calves, we've got abs, we've got obliques, we've got chest, arms, and core. All right, so pretty much full body workout right here for 4 and 3, except for the back, and 2, actually that's engaged a little bit, and 1, come to center and lower those feet down. Good job. Windshield wiper those knees from side to side for 3. Woo, and 2, and 1, and come back to center. All right, guys, then pivot yourself around, and we're going to do that sideline work on the other side. So, finding a position for your torso that feels good and natural for you. Those knees are directly in front of the hips, legs bent in a 90-degree angle. And then, dumbbell in hand, we'll just lift and lower those ankles. And breathe. And then, again, let's place those fingertips on our waist and feel those oblique muscles working as you're lifting and lowering. Curiously, I don't feel them as much on this side. That's strange. Oh, there they are. Yeah, so sometimes you have to think about recruiting a muscle before it's actually recruited. So that's part of the mind-body connection that we talk about in Pilates. By the way, if you tuck that navel into the spine, you will feel this more in your oblique area and your midsection. All right, for 2, the next time those feet are lifted, pause. Yeah, that definitely snuck up on me, and now these guys are completely engaged. All right, let's take that elbow into the waist, dumbbell in hand, take an inhale, exhale, lift that knee, lift that arm, and do it again, and continue. Again, less is more for the arm going through this range of motion. So if your dumbbells are heavier than 2 pounds, I recommend just putting them down and going through the range of motion without any dumbbells. Woo, and breathe. Yep, feeling this quite a bit for 4, and 3, and 2, and the next time everything is lifted, pause. Remember what comes next. Take an inhale as you exhale. Keep that leg out longer. Reach that arm up to the ceiling. Bring the knee to the hip. And do it again. What's going on with that bottom leg? Is that ankle still lifted? Woo, and breathe. Yeah, looking so good. Feeling those obliques, feeling the outer thigh, feeling the booty cheek, feeling the quadriceps, hamstrings, obliques. Did I mention obliques? Arms. Yeah, so lots going on for 4, and 3, and 2. And then, guys, let's kick that leg out long. Rest the arm. Pivot those toes down. All right, we're going to blast out this little muscle group in our behind area. So we'll bring those toes down in front, up and over, and in back, and do it again, and continue. So we're making little rainbow arcs with the head of the femur rotated in that hip socket. And breathe. By the way, this muscle that you're feeling often remains weak, even when we have a very strong backside and we can do lunges and all sorts of different movements that typically require that strength in the glutes. But this particular area often is weak, and that can cause back pain. So it's good to spend time focusing on it and strengthening it. And as you can tell, it's a really isolated area back there. Oh, feeling this quite a bit. I feel like my form is beginning to suffer. For 3, and breathe, and 2, and 1. Oh my gosh, and come center. Yeah, so feeling that quite a bit. Let's reach both arms forward. Take that top arm up and over. Coming into that side body stretch. If you wish, you can look over those far fingertips. I am going to avoid that because that would not feel good for me today. And breathe. Whew. Again, the stretch feels so amazing. I don't want to come out of it, but yet there are other things to do. So for 2, and 1, and then go ahead and pivot and lie onto your back. All right, guys, lying on your back. Let's hug those knees into the chest. pulling the nose towards the knees and the knees towards the nose, and then begin to rock forwards and backwards and forwards and backwards. I am not going to do this, but if it feels all right for you, you are keeping curled tightly in a ball and you're rolling so far forward that you're almost placing those feet down, but not quite. Hang out there suspended just for a moment before that ankle is so far tucked into the spine, you roll back. Yeah, so you're getting a really nice back massage. Again, super old school Pilates exercise. You guys look amazing. For 4 and 3 and 2. Beautiful. And then let's all meet in the upright position. Well done, guys. Let's flip ourselves over and come onto the belly. I want the elbows underneath the shoulders, and that head, neck, and torso are lifted. All right, then energetically draw those elbows towards your hips, feeling that nice extension in your spine, and breathe for 4 and 3 and 2. All right, guys, then let's take that right leg. We're going to bend that right knee, bring it, kick the heel towards the tush twice and straighten, and we'll switch and continue. Whoops. So we are bending that back leg, kicking the heel to the tush twice and straightening and switching, and continue. Begin to squeeze those booty cheeks as you're going through this range of motion, energetically drawing those elbows towards your torso, using that as leverage to create more space and length between the vertebrae in your spine. And breathe, looking good. Woo, feeling that backside quite a bit. For 4 and 3 and 2 and 1 and rest. All right, from here, guys, let's take those hands. We're going to place them under the shoulders and then tuck those toes underneath you. Then recruit all your core muscles. Take an inhale. As you exhale, press yourself into a plank position, or however you want to find yourself in a plank position. Okay, now, if it is better for you to be on those elbows, that is totally an option. All right, you are breathing, hollowing out that belly, navel is tucked to the spine. If you are on your hands, if you press into your thumb and forefinger, it will help to save your wrists. Also, coming on to what we call gorilla fists might work for you as well, which gives you an option to keep those wrists straight. Okay, notice if that waist is sagging. If it is, almost slightly puff it up just to counteract its tendency to sag. All right, guys, we're going to add in a little bit of movement here. You can take a rest at any time. Keeping those knees together, let's take that right heel, kick the tush twice, and place it down. And then take the other heel and kick the tush twice. Keeping the knees together. Woo! And breathing. Hollowing out that belly. Navel is tucked to the spine. Are those knees super glued together? If not, super glue them together. Woo! For 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Both feet down. Then place one knee down and your other knee down. Wow, nice job, guys. Let's separate those knees a lot with those feet together, and then reach that booty back towards the heels. Walk those hands forward. Coming into a forward fold type stretch. And breathe. And notice how your body feels after all of that activity. All right, guys, reach those hands as far away from you as possible. Spread those fingertips a lot. Then keep those hands there. Keep your lower body where it is. Take an inhale. As you exhale, let's reach those shoulders over the hands. And then let's bend the elbows in towards the midsection, kicking that torso forward, way forward. Straighten those arms and reach that booty back towards the heels and do it again. So we're going to shift forward, bend the elbows, straighten the arms, and reach that booty back and continue. So these are called child's pose push-ups. and they really are fabulous for developing arm strength. By the way, notice where those arms are. I want them really tucked into your midsection, like you're squeezing yourself with your elbows as you bend those elbows. Whoa, and breathe. Suddenly it's warming up where I am. I think it's me warming up. Actually, it is probably warming up. Yeah, it's pretty sunny out there today. Another beautiful day in Southern California. All right, for 3, woo, and 2, and 1 more, and then reach that booty all the way back. Just take a moment in this stretch, woo, and enjoy for 3, and 2, and 1. All right, guys, then come on to all fours. So we are coming into a quadruped position. I'm going to take my jacket off really fast. So coming into a quadruped position, guys, let's make sure those hands are directly below the shoulders and those knees are directly below the hips. Yeah, looking good, everyone. Okay, from here, let's drop that belly button down towards the mat. Shifting our gaze forward, sticking the booty out, pressing into the bases of our hands down by the wrists. Woo, just enjoying that curve in the spine. Then pressing into the thumb and the forefinger, lift that back up towards the ceiling. Drop that gaze down towards the knees. And then let's drop that belly down. Stick that booty out, shift that gaze forward. And then imagine someone's pulling on a belt that you're wearing and your bra strap up towards the ceiling. And then continue moving between these two positions, your own pace. Yeah, and just enjoy that range of motion. This movement does not feel that great for me, guys, so I'm going to stop. But if it feels good for you, and it does for most people, continue for 3, and 2, looking good, and 1, and come to center. Okay, guys, next, let's take that left leg, kick it straight out behind you, reach that right arm forward as if you are going to shake someone's hand. And try to create as much space and length as you can between those fingertips and that far heel. By the way, those rear toes, they are flexed down towards the mat. Woo, and breathe for 3, and 2, and then pause. Bring the elbow to the knee underneath your body and reach everything along and do it again. And continue. If it feels okay for your body, as you reach the elbow to the knee, curl your spine up towards the ceiling like we did in that previous exercise. For 3, and 2, and 1. The next time everything is out long, pause, and then place that hand down and that knee down. Nice job. Then let's kick that right leg out long. And you guessed it, reach forward with that left hand, trying to create as much space and length as you can between those fingertips and that far heel, which, by the way, those toes are flexed down. And breathe. Woo, taking that static hold for 3, and 2, and then begin to bring the elbow to the knee underneath your torso and kick it long and do it again. Notice if you feel wobbly, I do. And breathe. Whew, that's the cool thing about Pilates is no one does it perfectly. And that's okay. And breathe for 4, and 3, and 2, and 1, and come back to center. Good job, guys. And then from here, let's separate those knees again. Reach that booty back towards the heels, reaching those arms forward. Feeling that stretch again for 3, and 2, and 1. All right, there's one more set, guys, in the plank sequence that we're going to do. So I'm going to cue this on the hands, and if what I'm about to suggest isn't great for you, you can continue with the earlier version or anything else, including taking a rest. Okay, so cueing on the hands, elbows are fine. Place those hands down, take a step back with one foot, finding that long straight line, commit to it with your muscles, then take an inhale. With an exhale, just step back with your other foot effortlessly. All right, guys, from here, let's pivot all 10 toes to the left. Look to the left, reach that left arm up to the ceiling and breathe. If you wish, so we're in a side plank here. If you wish, you can lift that left leg up towards the ceiling or not. So your choice. And breathe and hold for 4. Getting that really nice shoulder strength, that core strength. And 3, reaching those fingertips long. And 2, woo, and 1, and come back to center. We'll hang out here just for a moment, guys, and breathe. Rock forward onto those toes and back and forward. Getting a nice calf stretch, getting ankle mobility. And breathe. Woo, for 3 and 2. And then pause, and then finding stability under that left hand. Let's pivot to the right. All 10 toes to the right. Reaching that right arm up to the ceiling. Maybe lifting that right leg up towards the ceiling or not. Sucking in that tummy, trying to keep a straight line with your spine and your neck. And breathe again, feeling that really strong shoulder. For 3 and 2, pivot back to center. And then let's dip that right hip and center and left hip and center. And continue. Keeping the hands below the shoulders, or if you're on your elbows, that's fine too. You're just keeping those elbows below the shoulders. Woo! And breathe, feeling those obliques, little hip tips. For 4, sucking in that tummy. And 3, I don't know about you guys, but I am sweating. And 2, and 1, and place one foot down, or one knee down rather, and the other knee. Okay, and then coming back into our final child's pose stretch, reach that booty back towards the heels, separating those knees, and then walk those hands forward. Good job, you guys look amazing. And breathe. For 4, and 3, feels so good, I don't want to come out of it. And 2, but I've got a whole day in front of me, and you probably do too. And 1, and walk those hands back towards your knees. Oh, all right, guys. Are you sweaty too? Yeah, all right. Let's come to a kneeling and then a standing position, or come to standing, however you want to get there. Really nice work today, you guys. We got a full body workout in. We moved in every plane of motion. We got some good stretching in. Swing those arms from side to side. Take your leg in a park and notice if your body feels different than it did at the beginning of class. I do. I feel a little fatigued. At the same time, I feel stronger and looser and stretched. For 2 and 1, and come to center. All right, guys, let's reach those arms up overhead, drop those shoulders, curl those fingertips over, and then as if you're rolling down over an enormous beach ball, begin to roll down vertebrae by vertebrae. When you get down to the bottom, nod your head, yes, 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 I feel amazing. Shake your head, no, no, no. And then softness in the knees, head is heavy. Roll up, vertebrae, by vertebrae. Oh my gosh, that feels so good. When you get to the top, bring those shoulders up, back and down, up, back and down. And one more time, up, back and down. And walk into your day and your week with your awesome posture. Really nice work, you guys. I want to thank you for joining me, and I hope you feel amazing.